Hey everybody, it's Andy, Thursday Live Office Hours. Great to have you. Looking forward to today, helping you build a career you love every day. But a little extra sauce on Thursday. So get in the chat, say hi, let me know who you are, let me know what you do, let me know where you're from, let me know what you need. Put some question marks in front of your questions so I can answer them. Got some good time for you today. Maybe got a little story for you somewhere in the middle. But let's get right to it with your questions. Everything looks green on my end, and everything means green. Green lights on the tube, green lights on my mic. I see some thummy things flying. Click the like button, make sure you're subscribed. Let's get on to it. Jetting Chen, my right coaster. How you doing, my boot camper? Great to see you today. And mom is here early and often. Call your mom early and often if she's still with us. Mom, I love you. Great to see you. Gary Hoover, how are you, my boot camper? Week 1. Gary is a new boot camper from Red Lion, PA. Great to have you in the program. Prasad, how are you? What do we got here? Smiling guy here with a question. Andrew, thank you for what you do. I started my new job and got a $65K raise using your negotiation techniques. You know what? I have got to tell you, number one, congratulations. You deserve it. You put all the work in. I must have just given you some good guidance here. Be proud of yourself. And I got to put this up. Number one, we got to give him a high 10. Can we give him a big shout out? Congratulations. And I want you all to see what is possible. I cannot tell you, I've had 7 coaching sessions this week, and virtually every single 6 of the 7, I think, we're all about negotiating big raises like this. So the possibilities are out there. Hang in there. I'm telling you, the world is hiring. If I know I know some of you are struggling. We're going to talk about that today. But hang in there. Prasad, great to see you. Huge congratulations. Yeah, I'd be smiling too if I had a $65,000 raise. Laura Cobb. Number 7. I think this is right. Kara, can we confirm? Laura Cobb, you get to stamp number 7 on yourself, and I'll know what you're talking about. And if look at, that's another smiling face. So my leadership coaching program, which you should all be part of if you ask me, because you then get to attend my productivity sessions every Monday this month, now has a lifetime leadership membership, and I think, Laura Cobb, you are number 7 if I am correct. I want to know the top 20. I want to know their numbers. I want to be able to call them by their numbers. I think you're number 7. Yes, number 7. Wow, to you. Great to have you for life. Nice gal. You are a boot camper? Great. I wish I knew which boot camper you were. Salary question. Hey, let's just get this right up here. Awesome. I love this. I love salary questions. Why? Because we're talking money. All right. How do we negotiate a salary for an entry-level data analyst role with mid-level work experience? Can we ask for a reasonable amount? Can we? Yes. Yes. Remember this. It is not the employer's job to overpay you. It is not the employer's job to give it away. They're in business to make money, right? I know I poo-poo on employers a lot because I'm totally on your side and I want you to get paid the most. But it is also your responsibility to convince them why you deserve more. And it's not because you want more. It is not because you asked for more. You have to show them the value you are going to contribute. Now, one way to do that is by explaining to them and making sure they're getting this through the interviewing process, the skills and experience that you bring to the table. But what that does is it doesn't assure them that in the future you will absolutely be able to give them the return on their investment that you're asking for, right? That they're paying you, right? They give you the kind of the good citizens pay in your salary. Maybe you get some bonuses and things like that. Just because you're bringing the skills to the table doesn't mean that you will be able to apply those skills in our environment. Now, great chances that you likely can, but you need to convince me as a hirer that you can do that. The better way isn't to say, well, I want, or I bring this to the table, or I'm really good at this. I'm assuming they know that because they made you an offer. What you need to do is much like the lessons that I give you about shifting the discussion in the interviews to the future. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, one of the most effective interviewing techniques you can do to help the interviewer see that you are a great fit for their company is not to talk so much about your past, but to talk more about their future and how you would do things in their environment, because what that enables them to do is front and center see exactly how you would operate in their environment. And I know you might be thinking, well, Andy, they asked me a lot of behavioral interview questions, which ask me to dig into my past and talk about what I've done. I recognize you need to answer that, but you need to move the discussion into the future and talk about how you would perform those same scenarios in their environment so that they don't have to interpolate that. They can actually say, oh, this is exactly how you would behave. Well, same thing applies for the salary. So I had a session last night with a woman, a boot camper named Liz, and she's on a new job and she's interviewing for another position. She's only been there a few months, and this other position potentially is a step up. So we were working on how do you do this? You need to talk about what you are going to accomplish and how you are going to accomplish it so they actually can see and simulate the value you are going to help them realize. So when I'm in this position, this will enable you to. In Liz's case, she's putting some automation in that's going to allow them perhaps to reduce the number of people that they need to hire. That's instant savings, right? So when you negotiate and you're bringing something to the table that for you, if you are making a career change or maybe you have a little more experience, whatever the case may be, you need to show the application of what you're going to do to make the case that you are worth it. So you've got to move the salary discussion into a value discussion into the future as well. So can you ask? Yes. How do you ask? You make an argument. You don't ask for more money. You make an argument that you are worth more money. And you need to provide simulated evidence of the fact because, right, we can't live into the future. We have to talk about the future in the present moment. But that's how you do it, nice gal. And you know what else, nice gal? If you want more, tomorrow you're going to be with me at the private boot camper coaching session. For our month of March session is tomorrow the 19th. Maybe you guys been getting an email or two from me about that if you're interested. Program's on special for another 23 hours and 53 minutes. So lots of luck, nice gal. See you tomorrow, and we could talk some more. Jim R., my boot camper, how are you? And highly favored is a boot camper. I know she is. And highly favored in my mind. And Jeff Comstock is a boot camp. Look at these guys. You guys are awesome. All right, Jim R. Sent my resume to a company based on a referral from the hiring manager at a friend's company. I do not personally know the hiring manager. The other company did not. Wait, hang on, let me get this straight. I sent my resume to a company based on a referral from the hiring manager at a friend's company. So the hiring manager at a friend's company knew somebody at the company you applied for, and you don't personally know this individual. The other company did not have an open posted, but said they would look over my resume and get back to me. At his, you're losing me here, Jim. It has been just over a week, and I've not heard back. Should I follow up? So I'm not sure which company you meant. I know that you got a referral. You sounded like you tried to get into a company based on a second degree referral. And regardless, if neither of them have gotten back to you, I would follow up. But here again, I don't think that I would be investing a ton of time following up with people who are not getting back to me. A friendly tap on the shoulder after 7-10 days, give or take, is okay. And in the follow-up, I would also say as little as possible. I want to check in on this to see if you were interested, and I'm still greatly interested. Would love to hear from you if you're open to discussing. Something like that, very, very short and sweet, and just forward what you initially sent. But yes, the answer is yes, I would. I just don't, I don't put a lot of heart and soul into it. Meaning I don't put a lot of emotional attachment to a follow-up, right? I am following up with somebody who has already not gotten back to me. Dana, how are you? Are you on the bike right now? Thanks for all that you do. You are welcome. You know I love you, and I'm saying that to you, meaning she didn't write that. Andy, you'll appreciate that I'm using this time with you wisely, and I'm torturing my... You see, whoever has the most inside jokes wins life, okay? Dana, haha. Yes, she's torturing herself with 2 hours of OU intervals. Oh my God, so she is on the bike. Yes, we're having some... yes, actually, can I make this little announcement only because it irks me greatly? We have various ways that we send you emails. We have an email system, we have a training system, and then Kara and I and Stacy have email addresses where we send you individual emails, where we're replying to you from our own individual. We're having trouble, for whatever reason, replying to people with MSN, Outlook, Hotmail, and I'm assuming any other Microsoft, like .live probably, or live.com, whatever it is, email addresses. They are all timing out, and we are getting postmaster, whatever, error messages back. So I'm actually trying to communicate with some of you VIPs that have Outlook and MSN emails, and I'm getting error messages back, so you're not getting our messages. And we noticed this started happening in the last couple of days. We're trying to chase it down. But if you are in our programs and you are not getting kind of the usual emails from us, like the Tuesday Digest or the Thursday Digest, I also sent you a message yesterday on Wednesday. If those seem to be working when they're coming from our email system, of all things, but when we individually are replying to you, for whatever reason, they're not going through. So if you're wondering, like, hey, what the heck, email us and ask us, but you need to email us from a other email, like a Gmail or a Yahoo or something else, and we can reply. We're not having any trouble with any of those. Aylin, bonjour to you, my Canadian friend. Oh, let them know we're not receiving error email back until 24 hours later. That's true. So I sent messages on Tuesday. I didn't know till Wednesday night that they didn't get through. And some of you are in, like I said, my VIP program, and I'm trying to communicate back and forth with you, and I keep getting bounces. So if you are here and you are hearing me say this, try to reach us via a different email address, and we can change your email address in our system if you let us know. David Mills, hey to you. Sherry, how are you? Sherry, I just read your story and messaged you. Hopefully, I don't know if it was an Outlook or a .msn or whatever, but hopefully you got my response. Great to have you. Tom Phillips, my boot camper, and baby girl, my Instagram friend. How are you? Kurt, my boot camp. Oh my God, look at you guys. Bob, my boot camper and leader. I love this. Clinton, hi to you. Paridi, hey. Alexi. Is it Alexi? And Lisa Blizzard, another boot camp. You guys are getting close. Is that right? I know I got to be getting close to a couple 100,000 subscribers. Do you know? Wait, thank you for that. And if you don't know what HMM, that's Aylin, is saying, I got to be getting close to 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. I don't make a big deal about this because I don't think of you as a subscriber. You are a real person like me with real problems, and you came to my channel because you needed help. And that's what I focus on. And the other thing is, a lot of people, they game the YouTube system, and either they're buying fake followers or they're doing a lot of other stuff, or maybe they're just totally focused on their search engine optimization or stuff. I don't worry about a lot of that. I just figure out what you need. You ask me questions, I give you answers. Bang, it goes up on the channel, for everyone to benefit. And I appreciate the shout out there, but I want you to know it's about the relationship, not the number. It is about the connectivity with me and you as part of the community. It's about the contributions you make at these shows to help others. It's about you getting connected with other people and me helping you as a facilitator to do that. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate everything that you're in, Aylin, and all the programs that you're in. And now that you are a lifer too, I love it. So thank you for that. But if you are not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. Flying Uber Tuber, Vicky, how do? Jody C, hey to you, and I hope you enjoyed that productivity session. Danielle Phillips, man, oh man, good morning to you. Is that your coffee mug? That's just, coffee's just the best. Yvonne, oh my good. Keith, great to see. Keith, I'm wondering if we're going to be having a session next week. Great to see you guys. Bill, Lawrence, you are welcome. What do you do when you receive an insultingly low offer? Let's get this up here. So here's what I do. I'm assuming that your question relates to the insulting part, right? Obviously, what you're saying is, the bid was kind of low, and I mean like really low. So first thing that I do, literally first thing that I do, and I'm not being funny here, and I hope that you all try to do this as much as possible. First thing I do is I look at myself, okay? Seriously, did I not perform in the interviewing process to the level of my ability? Did I make the right arguments? Did I tell the right stories? Was I polished, fast, right? Did I show them the value that I was going to create for them? So first, this is an automatic response, and it's about owning your own stuff, right? Like, I'm responsible for me and all the vibrations I put out in the world. It's the first thing I do, and it really helps me because, number one, I think it's just great that we all take responsibility for our own actions, but number two, it creates in my mind the possibility that I missed something. And most of the time, when somebody reacts to us a way that we don't expect, or we're surprised, or it's like, I can't believe you did that, or any of that stuff, there's some way, shape, or form we're probably responsible in some way. So I also think that an open mind is a peaceful place. So leaving room for these possibilities, my reaction going back to them would not be, oh my goodness, you just insulted me. I'm worth 100,000. You offered me 50. It would probably be, okay, I appreciate the offer, and I'm thankful that you would like me to work here. In looking at this offer, though, I feel I can add a lot more value based on, and then you have to explain to them these things. And I would then get their reaction, because their reaction could be one of a couple of things. Okay, well, this is how much we value the position. It may have nothing to do with you. They may only have $50,000. That's a possibility. You might not have shown them all the skills you have. Maybe they think there's huge gaps, in which case you want to hear that from them. And I probably, if it was grossly low, like you're saying, is I probably would say I think there's a big gap. I would say this. I think there's a big gap between the value I feel I will bring and what I think that value is worth in the way of salary or compensation and this offer. So I'd like to just understand your perspective, literally, as to how you came up with this number. I would ask that. Now, you probably have never heard me use that expression at a live office hours or in any of my salary videos, because most of the time, if the offer is that wide, if you're that far apart, you got bigger problems. I would be questioning why I would even want to work at this employer. But, like I said, leaving room for the possibility that you didn't perform your best, maybe you didn't show them what you have, maybe you didn't make the argument, maybe you didn't make the case, maybe they don't have any money, maybe whatever. I would want to open the dialogue to, we're not negotiating at this point. I'm asking you for an explanation, and that's different. And so for you, Lawrence, that's the way I would approach that. And then I can't tell you what to do after that until I know what their rationale is. If they say, well, Lawrence, we don't think that you have all the experience that we need and blah, 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 and we're taking a chance on you, but we really like you and your attitude, so we want to pull you into the company. Okay, well, that's one thing. Or if they say, Lawrence, that's all we got. We think you're great. Okay, I'm out of here, kind of thing. So that's actually how I would react to something like that. And I think that that's everybody, I hope you take that advice to heart, that it all starts with taking responsibility and then inquiring. It's not, do you know what is not the first thing you do? React, right? Don't try not to have that emotional reaction. Be upset about it. Your first reaction should be, perhaps there wasn't something that I did, but let me make sure I understand, right? That seek first to understand, and then go and ask that line of questioning. So now what you're doing is you look level-headed, you look thoughtful, you sound smart, and you're not coming back saying, well, geez, if you want to be there, well, it's just not for us, kind of thing. I wish you a lot of luck with that. I know it's tricky. It's tricky. I'm gonna tell you a little story here later in the session that I think I just decided this like 20 minutes before the show. I thought it might be a good story lesson to share with you, and I'll have you in mind as well as part of this story, Lawrence. I hope that helps. All right, that's great. That's a great question. Uzoma, my boot camper from the other side of the pond. Always nice to see you. Thomas, highly favored. What do we got here? Hey, Andy, during an interview, is it required or not required to say thank you to every question an interviewer asked before proceeding to answer the questions? Will it be considered rude? This is a great question, not one I think I've ever been asked, which is actually quite crazy. Been doing this a long time, meaning these live shows, I've answered lots and thousands of questions. I don't think we've gotten this one. So what I would say is, no, you do not need to say thank you after every question. What I do is, let's have an ebb and flow to the dialogue. There's nothing wrong with saying, oh man, that's a great question. Something like that. Not every time, because they're not all going to be great questions. And thanks for meeting with me up front. Maybe you're not shaking hands just yet, kind of thing, but good smile, or maybe it's a Zoom smile or whatever. Maybe that's something I need to coin. I don't know, but all right. So thanks up front. Along the way, let's say you're with them 30 minutes to an hour. There won't be a whole lot of thank yous in there. And then when you're done, you want to thank them when you're leaving. Thanks so much for the time. I really enjoyed meeting you. All that good stuff. And then you send them a thank you email. That will cover it. It will. That'll be plenty. Highly favored. Good luck on that. Victor, hey to you, buddy. Gerard, I gotta tell you this. Thank you so much. You are every bit of all those hashtags, my friend. And you know what? My wife got our mail from the post office the other day. I have been highly delinquent in going to the post office for the P.O. box during COVID, and I got your card, and it was awesome. Thank you for that. I really, it's sitting right on my table right here. Thank you for that. Just awesome. Really appreciate it. Baby girl, went for an interview and salary came up. Didn't give number. I said I was open and asked what their wage range is. Still didn't give them a number, but I did say I'm worth the average range. Did I do this right? Okay, wait, I actually do want to talk about this. So here's what I would say about this. Great question. She did everything right. One thing I would have held. So you get into the interview, salary comes up, I'm open. If they're pressing you, the bailout is, all right, well, you have a number in mind. You want to share what the range is, and I'll let you know if I'm okay with that. And almost no matter what the range is, you want to say okay. I would not add, but I'm worth the average range in there. They don't know that yet. Your stock is still low. Now, think about what could be construed. I'm not saying this is what they construed or misconstrued, but if you say to me, I'm worth the average range, we have this thing in pricing called anchoring, okay? You all do it. We do it to you. But when you say, and recruiters do this, and you do this to recruiters, even though you don't know it's called this. When you put a number out as a consumer, all right, a buyer of you or it or the thing or this microphone or whatever, the first number that I see, we place the most weight on that number. And then what do? We either think we're winning or we're losing, depending on what we pay or don't pay in relation to that number. It's called anchoring. So what did you do? You anchored yourself and said, I'm worth the average. Why are you not worth 2 times the average? Right? So I wouldn't say anything there. So you don't know. You don't know what they're willing to pay, and you don't know how they're going to interpret your value. So you don't want to give them an anchor point. What happens when you give a range? What did I say about the anchor points? I'm open to 70 to 90. I heard 70. What did you hear? 90, right? Kind of thing. If I say to you, the range pays 70 to 90, what did you hear? 90. What am I thinking? 70, right? Kind of thing. So avoid that last remark. This is really a great, great point for everybody. Just remember, when you open your mouth in the beginning of the process, you are anchoring a price point for them. Okay? If I say it costs $100, I'll give it to you for $50. You feel like you got a victory. Right? You don't know if it's worth $200 and you got a real victory, or you don't know if it was worth $25 and you paid twice as much. Kind of thing. Now, value is open for interpretation as well. It's just like art. But you get what I'm saying. So I would just avoid that last part. So I hope that helps. I hope it works out. I really do. Mashid, oh man, look at this. I love it. My Canadian boot camper finally got the offer for my first full-time job in Canada. Super excited, super grateful. I didn't take what was available. Now I have what I want. I struggled for a year and it's paid off. I love it. And you've been in the boot camp a very short while, maybe February. I know it's recent, so huge congratulations. And she moved from the other side of the world to Canada, and through our help and her hard work, she got it. Can we give her a huge, huge, huge congratulations? I am so, so happy for you. I really am. Send me an email so we can do the email bumps. That is awesome. Huge congratulations to you. I think I want to tell you this story right now. And Mashid and Prasad, I like all of you guys with all these offers. To all of you that are struggling, I want to tell you a story. It's a few minutes. Bear with me, but I think it's a little less of a how-to and more about mindset and an inspiration, and I hope that you take this out with you. I sent you an email yesterday, and it was about March, and I don't know when you're watching this recording or replay or whatever, but March generally is the burnout month for almost anything that we do. New goals, new businesses, job searching. A lot of people start in the fall or in the beginning of the year, and by March, we're 8, 10, 12 weeks into this, and then there's people who want to quit. Like, I want to be a career changer, but it's too hard. Or there's people who are just stuck. It's like I've tried everything. I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure what my options are. Are these my only choices? And then there's those that are just like flat out burnt out. Like they don't know what to do. They're frozen. They're just smoked. And I sent you this message that this is very common, and I want you to hang in there. But I hope that you're seeing from these messages from these people, right? Mashid, who moved countries, didn't have a network, right? Didn't know all that stuff, had probably many more challenges than most people and most job seekers. Prasad, $65,000 raise. The raises galore this week. There's people that are winning, and I want to tell you why, and I want to give you this story. And I've never told this story out loud. So if you are listening to me right now, this is the first time I have ever told this story publicly. I have emailed it maybe to my community some time ago, but I've never actually said this out loud. And I was thinking about this as I rolled out of bed this morning, and I thought, I need to share this today. So it was November 19th, 2004. And I had been working at a company that I would call a mediocre consulting company. and we offered IT consulting services. And I started there in January of 2004, and here we are about 10 months later, almost 11 months later, and my job was to create the products, the consulting services products that we would market and sell. Except that when I got to this organization, I thought I was going to be a salesperson and run some different things. But when I got in there and I started looking around the first week and I got to learn more about the company, I realized that what this company really needed was a marketing engine, that there was no way it would scale. There's no way you're going to grow with hand-to-hand combat in sales and trying to get a half a dozen salespeople to comb the earth trying to sell these consulting services, of which the message was, we're good problem solvers. This isn't going to work. So without going into all the detail, I create these products, I package them, and I run a marketing engine to basically bring us leads. We ended up selling millions of dollars of consulting services, and it was highly successful. And that's about all you need to know about this. So fast forward to November 19th, and the CEO called me into his office, and I was going in there. I had no idea what he wanted. And I'm thinking to myself, no, he doesn't call me much. I don't really deal with him all that much. I deal with the chief operating officer mostly. And he says, Andy, sit down. And I'll never forget this. And he says, we need to make some changes. Now, I don't know about you, but has any good conversation come from, we need to make some changes? It's kind of like, the boyfriend or the girlfriend's like, we need to talk. I mean, has anything good ever come in the wake of of those words? So I said, oh, okay. He said, well, we need to make some changes and we need to change your role. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, okay. And now I'm like, is it possible he's going to elevate me? Like thinking, I just crushed it. And he said, and I have two choices for you, two options. I said, oh, okay. He says, well, we'd like you to go and either be a bag-carrying salesperson, so basically go out and sell like these other guys are doing. He said, and if you want that option, you make $100,000 more in salary than we pay our salespeople, so we would lop the 100 off, and you could earn it back in commissions. And now I'm thinking, okay, now I'm really not liking where this is going. I'm thinking, huh? Like, what's option 2? If that's option 1, he says, well, you could go out and actually sell the consulting services and run the project because you're equipped to do that too. And then the clients would pay for you. And then we would generate money that way, and you could manage these accounts because we're kind of shorthanded. But we would also want you to take a $30,000 pay cut on your salary on that. And the bonus potential isn't as high. I'm thinking, I'm stunned, right? I'm thinking, what the hell? Right? Like, this makes no sense. And after I collect myself, I'm thinking, all right, well, life's not fair, I get it, but I have no idea where this is coming from. So, I'm literally, stunned. I just got smashed in the face. And then he says to me, and I need to know by Monday. And this is Friday, November 19th. I need to know by Monday. So now the one thing that I do know about situations like this is you need to stop talking and get away from it as quickly as possible. Okay, this is not a discussion. He was not a man long on words, and this is not a discussion I wanted to be in, and it certainly is not a discussion I wanted to be in when I had no moments to process it. And I'm a fast processor. So I get up, I walk out the door, I say a few little things under my breath kind of thing, but I know I need to get the hell out of there. So I'm walking back to my office, and my cubicle that had a wall this high was as far away from his office as possible on the floor. And along the way, my best friend Tony, I actually referred him into the company and helped him get his job there. He actually managed the consulting resources, basically the organization of where all our consulting resources were on which projects. And I knew that my commission checks were kind of light these past number of months based on the work that I had helped sell. And I went into his office and I said, V's, that is his nickname to me. And he swirls around in his chair. I said, hey, I got to ask you, I know we've got new clients where we've delayed the start of projects because we don't have consulting resources available, and we have existing clients who want additional resources that we don't have available. How much money each month are we losing basically the opportunity to get each month because we don't have butts in the seats? That's what we called it, right? It's like having a consulting resource to go out and work it. We didn't have the product to give to the customer. So he says, it's big. It's big. How big? I know it's big. Like, can you tell me down to the dot? He swirls around his chair, pulls up his spreadsheet. He looks at it and he says, I can hear him like, the numbers coming out, like the balloons coming out of his mouth. It's like $250,000. It's like, turns around. He's like 249 and change. So $250,000 a month that we are not getting because we don't have the consulting resource. We're unable to recruit them fast enough. $250,000, like every month? He's like, last 3-4 months been like this. Okay, it's like $1 million just in the last quarter, give or take. Okay, now the motor's running, right? And what have I always told you? Your greatest opportunities can be found in the sounds of other people's complaints or pain, right? You solve their problem, you're their hero. And while the CEO probably didn't love me all that much, and I didn't really care for him, I'm sure he hated the fact that he wasn't getting that money each month. And I went back to my office. I kind of collected myself. I thought about it for a few minutes. I went home that night, shook myself a totally bruised martini, poured it, sat at my condo table, and I wrote out a list of the 23 things that I wanted in my life out of work. So I sat down, I thought about what I wanted, and this wasn't it. So I decided that I was not going to choose from his options. And I went back to his office on Monday, and I said to him, early in the morning, I tapped on the door. I said, hey, you want a quick talk? I'm happy to give you my answer. He said, oh, great, come on in. Which one of those options did you pick? I said, neither. He says, are you leaving? Right? I'm sure he was hoping that too. I said, well, not so fast. I said, do you know how much, so I didn't go right into my proposal. I said, do you know how much money we're not getting each month because we don't have the resources? He says, I don't know. I'm assuming it's significant. This is $250,000. And I let the words hang there. And his eyes started to light up. I said, a month. I want you to wrap your mind around that. So he said, well, I didn't know it was that big. I said, well, okay, which leads me to my proposal. You've got one recruiter, and she could barely keep up and rarely knows what she's doing. And even if she did, it would be very difficult to actually recruit all these people. And you got unhappy clients because their projects are being delayed. You got people you're selling to that you can't staff these projects. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you a couple options. I could either quit outright, or the option I would prefer is I'm going to quit and I'm going to open up my own recruitment firm, and you could be my first client. And he said, do you know anything about recruiting? I said, what do you care? What do you care? You're not going to pay me unless you actually hire somebody. So you got an extra pair of hands. You got somebody who knows the space, who knows your company better than anybody else who's ever going to recruit for you is going to know it. So it's I hate the expression, but it's a win-win. He said, okay. So by Thanksgiving, this is Monday, right? By Wednesday, before I left work, we had a contract signed. And I had a company that didn't have a name. I had a client that I didn't particularly love, but was a client. And now I had a shingle that I put out where, 80, 90 hours before, I had no idea that was going to happen. And the point that I want you to know is, while you might not know, you might remember how you found me, and you might know why you went to the internets and looked up the problem that you were having. But this is the reason why I was even available for you to find. And the reason I wanted to share it with you is I want you to know that on that day, on November 19th, I decided that absolutely nobody in this world ever, and no one has since, was ever going to give me choices, right? I choose. I create them. Life is not multiple choice. Okay, it's not a series of multiple choice questions. You could check none of the above anytime you want. But that means you got to get up and go after it. And if you can't see what those options are, then you need to step back. And you need to keep stepping back until you can see them or you can create them. But either which way, don't think that you are limited in any fashion. I've talked to you about just because a job is posted, 20% of jobs in this world are posted. That means 80% aren't. But he gave me two choices. I didn't like them, either of them. So I gave him a choice. And he didn't have to choose that, but he did. So I want you to know when you're feeling down, you're feeling burnt out, the options are there. You're so close in its face that you can't actually see it. You got to step back. And so I know March is burnout month. I know all that. But that's how the recruiter was born. That's what put me in motion to do this now. So I hope you take that and you go out and you get after it. Because whatever you think, however closed off you think this world is, about how no one's hiring, about how they're discriminating against you, or I'm too old, or I'm the wrong color, or I'm the wrong this or that, that's total bullshit. All right? And you got to own that. Because there are choices out there. You need to either find different ones or create your own. Either way is okay with me, and I'm here to help you, and the tools are out there to do it. But you gotta chase it. You can't just live in the box that this world has given you. You got to create your own stuff. Okay, so I hope that helps. I hope it inspires you. It's along the lines of the message that I sent you yesterday about don't get burnt out. Step back, look at it. There are options. There are tools. There are tools that can help you. There are people that can help you. There are people that can help you think it through. So I've been on this because I sent you that message. I got a lot of emails back from the email. I got a lot of email responses back from the email I sent you yesterday about this being Job Search Burnout Month. Okay, and it kind of leading into, I mentioned a time or two that, the Job Search Bootcamp, we put it on sale for a day, and through tomorrow you can jump in if you want to join us. So maybe a little later, in the session, I'll show you the program. But I wanted to share that story with you because I want you to remember that, right? If I would have accepted his options, this would not be happening right now. All right, it wouldn't have been possible. I opened up a recruiting firm and I never recruited a day in my life. If I can do that, you certainly can get a job where you're slightly pivoting or you're heading into a new industry and taking well-qualified skills that you've built through other things. You sold this, go sell that. You've marketed for this, go market for that. You've accounted for the books for those types of companies, you can go do it for another one. Believe me, there's more options than you think. There really is. All right, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed sharing it. And that's the first time I can ever do that, a first time. But I hope it inspires you, I really do. All right, back to your questions. Awesome. Look at this. Kush, Andy, after watching your resume tips videos, I was able to secure 2 interviews after months of rejections. You are welcome. Can we give Kush a huge high 10? Is that a picture of Chicago? Hang on, I gotta see this. I can barely see it. Are you in Millennium Park? I don't know if that is, but if you are from Chicago, you'll have to get together with us for the meetup whenever we are COVID-free. Oh man, Jean-Pierre, when negotiating a salary for a position in California coming out of Chicago, what factors should be considered? Okay, I love this. All right, so Jean-Pierre, first thing, if I'm moving states, first thing that I would want to make sure is that I really wanted to go there. Okay, like I actually want to work there. Now, what you didn't say, but I'm going to make the assumption, is that you actually are moving. So, if you're coming out of Chicago, it sounds like you're actually moving to California. It's a lot more expensive. The state itself. Property is more expensive. The taxes are more expensive. You've got different types of COLA adjustments that you would want to factor in if you're actually moving there. Okay, so, and cost of living adjustments, meaning. So there's going to be a number of sites that will help you understand that. Now, I want to be cautious, and I want you to be cautious. Just because Andy says that the state of California is more expensive than Chicago doesn't mean they're going to pay you 20% more just to move there. Okay, so I just want you to be educated on, well, my house here that's $500,000 is going to cost $800,000. That's probably true over there. And I need to know that so that when I get my $100,000 salary, I know the nickels don't go as long. They don't go as long away. Okay? So that's number one. When you're negotiating, all the things I've already told you, meaning all the salary negotiation videos that I have out there, all apply. Okay? So it's not as if, well, you know, it's better because it's sunnier there and I'm going to, you know, on more days of the year. No, it just, the only thing I want to call your attention to is I want you to know for the Jean-Pierre family, you know, the household money, that you need to plan accordingly if you're actually going to move. Okay. Now, whether they pay you more, whether they pay you less, that's all going to be a function of how well you perform in the interviews. So that's it. I mean, all the negotiation tactics that I've given you are the same. I would do it the same way. I wouldn't change a thing. I would just be mindful of what does it mean if I go from a $90,000 salary here to a $100,000 salary there. That's not a raise. That's a loss kind of thing. So just keep that in mind. All right, hope that helps. Kush, phone interview prep. Kara, can you tell me, did we take off the phone interview blog post? Can you let me know that? Kush, the reason I'm asking Kara, I wrote an article a while ago on phone interviews and how to be successful. Yeah, Kara, let me know that on the, she's letting me know. The reason I'm asking her is we are going through, no, we didn't remove it yet. Okay, so maybe you can post it in the chat for Kush. Kush, the phone interview and all the stuff is this prep-wise is the same as a Zoom interview, video interview, a HireVue interview, one-way interview, in-person interview, panel interview, all the prep, everything's the same. There's a few things you want to be aware of because you're on the phone. Okay, I wrote those in an article for you. We're purging. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I started blogging in 2005. Okay, so how many years is that now? We've got a lot of articles that are on there that we are going to be removing because we're reformatting some things. That's one of them. Go check it out before we take it off. Hope that helps. Mona, I contacted one of my networks who works for my dream company, and as I have already applied and the company tracking system shows my profile's being reviewed, my network hasn't replied. Should I follow up with him? Okay, I contacted one of my networks who works at my dream company. You did apply. I'm not straightforward here. If your network hasn't replied, should you follow up? Yes. One thing, I want to take this into a little bit of a broader perspective. Here's a huge mistake. A lot of, and Mona, I'm not saying you made this. I'm saying a lot of people make this mistake. Y'all ain't getting the mileage you need to out of the referrals for two big reasons, okay? Two big reasons, two huge networking mistakes you're making. And I'm talking specifically about referrals. I'm not talking about I'm trying to network and I'm emailing Andy who I do not know and I'm asking him if we could go and have a cup of coffee. I'm talking about I'm emailing Andy who's emailing Tony because I want to get a job with Tony or something like that. So let me tell you what a lot of you do. You send me an email and you say, Andy, can you introduce me to Tony? There's a position over at such and such, or I would like to work with him because he's so-and-so, or he runs the unit that I would be perfect for, or whatever, okay? Then you say, Andy, would you send this on to him? And I say, Mona, I'm happy to do that. Send me what you want me to send him. And then I forward it and I say, hey, Tony, check out Mona. That's what a lot of people do. Then what happens? You don't hear from me and you don't hear from Tony. And you're wondering, should I follow up? Okay, here's the mistakes. You and I need to have a dialogue. I don't care if it's an email dialogue, or I don't care if it's a text. I don't care if it's voicemails. I don't care if it's live. I don't care if it's Zoom cocktail hour or whatever. We have got to agree. I'm going to ask you, Andy, for a referral. Here is what I need you to say. Okay? You need to tell Tony that I'm the bomb. I'm the best. I'm interested in this, and you need to make sure that you know what Tony's going to do with my stuff when he gets it. Meaning the communication has to be stamped. I need to send it to him and know specifically what his and my interaction should be. Now, it might be, hey, I don't know him that well. I'll send it on and maybe we'll take a shot. That's fine. But more likely than not, if you and I know each other well enough and I'm going to make this intro, it would be better if even if I didn't know him that well, to put in a descriptor of what the context is, how I feel, and can you let me know one way or another whether you would contact her, and if she's not a fit, can you let me know that? All right, all that dialogue has to occur before I send anything to him. All right, so let me give you a great example. I have this cousin, her name is Mary. She's great, and she has a new boyfriend, Andrew, who I have not met yet, and Andrew is a lawyer, okay? And so she texts me, Andy, I have a new boyfriend. His name is Andrew. Great name. Do you know any lawyers that you could, he's looking for a job, that you can refer him to? I get back to her. Mary, I'm going to put this on the email. I'm going to send you an email. Send her an email. I say, what kind of law does he do? What kind of company is he interested in? And so on. You go find out, and then you send me his resume, and then you give me context. Gives me the context. Oh, criminal defense? But he wants to be, in like the state's office or whatever. Okay, well, now that's different than my IP attorney, my family attorney, my other attorneys, and all the 18 other attorneys that I know, and all the friends that I have. So I only know one person who is in criminal defense. He does tort stuff and so on. So hold on. Now I got to make an introduction to the only person that I know who I haven't talked to in 3 years and don't even know that well. But I have his email. We played golf a couple times, kind of thing. I go back to my cousin, and now I get connected with Andrew. I said, you need to go check out this guy's company, and you need to tell me if you're interested in working for that company, or what the situation is and what your best outcome would be from a referral. He gets back to me. He says, actually, the firm's kind of small. Looks like they do mostly tort, this and that. It would be really helpful to have a dialogue with him to see if he knows anybody in blah, 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 blah. Now I got it all together. Now I send a message to Frank. It says, hey, Frank, hope you're doing well. Say hi to the golf gang for me. I have a cousin. She has a boyfriend. He's a lawyer. He's interested in this, blah, blah, blah. You're the only guy I know in the space. I'm having trouble hearing you. He's the only guy, you're the only guy I know in the space. I know you're really busy and you might not have time for this, but if you do, can you let me know if you can either have a call to action. Can you let me know if you can have you got to respond back to me. Can you let me know if you're going to have, if you'd be open to talking with him or helping him out or whatever. Right? I gave him the options. Off it goes. 26 minutes later, it came back to me. Andy, have him call my office and set up an appointment. I'll be happy to talk to him. Forwarded it to the guy. That's it. Referral and everything is executed and done. That's a referral. Even though I did not know the person. I was referring to a person I barely knew. Okay? Do you see the level of interaction that we had to make that connection successful? Now, he's not going to work there, but he's going to go on and get referred by that guy who I know is well connected to somebody who's going to get him closer. It's going to get warmer to where he wants to go. Why? Thoughtful planning. We knew what the call to action was. We knew we were going to get a response within either way, right? And he thinks longer term. The longer term you think, the more steps you're willing to go through and to take the time. Do you know how long it took me to go back and forth with them? 5 weeks, because I've been super busy. I couldn't even get back to my cousin within that amount of time. And knowing that I was going to have that interaction, I knew I only wanted to make one intro and I wanted to make sure that it was correct, and I needed to have enough time on my calendar to have the dialogue or email back and forth. That's what you need to do. And if you're not getting referrals to that level of strength, and by the way, a person I do not know is getting referred to a person I barely know. And I bet something happens there. That's what you got to do. That's how you got to think about it. It's a huge mistake that a lot of you are making is you're like, I need a job right now. What do you mean you can't give me one? Well, hang on a second. How come he's not getting back to you? How was the referral teed up? Was there a call to action? By the way, let's take this one step further. When you email employers while you're in the interviewing process, are you giving them a call to action? Would you get back to me with? Like, are you actually being specific? So when you say, Andy, well, when should I follow up with them? Well, first off, did you even give them a call to action to get back to you? Maybe, and then did you ask the right questions and all that other good stuff? Anyway, think about that. It is a big, big deal that you're teeing up your networking referrals that way. Okay? So lots of luck with that. I hope that helps you, Mona, and everybody else. Uzoma, what do we got here? I asked an external recruiter for the email address of my interviewers to send thank you email, but the recruiter said that she couldn't share it with me. So if I look for and find the email elsewhere, could it sour my relationship with the recruiter or the relationship between the recruiter and the employer? Okay, so this is a fantastic question. I'm gonna give you the Andy Smartass answer. You know I love you, buddy. Okay, first off, all y'all, any recruiter that will not give you the email addresses of his or her clients so that you can send a thank you email is a nut job. That's a red flag right there. Now, here's what I would do. Okay, fine. If you're not going to give me the email addresses of the people who I interviewed with, then I'm going to send a thank you email to, okay, what are your choices? You'd send it to the HR person or the recruiter and say, hey, I would like to send an email to all these people, but I don't have their email addresses. Can I send them to you? And would you forward them for me? But I want to send them because I really appreciated their time. Or you send it to the third-party recruiter and you say, will you please send these emails to all of those people? Now, the last thing I wanted to do when I was interacting in these situations, every time my candidate talked to my client or any candidate of mine talked to my client, once I got the email addresses of the interviewers, I have hung on to them. I said to my contact, whoever the contact was, whether it was the recruiter, the HR person, the chief operating officer, whoever, hey, all my candidates are going to send thank you emails. I got the email addresses of the people, and if I don't have the email addresses of the people, I want you to give them to me, and I would do all that stuff up front so that I was not chasing down people after you interviewed. So I would make sure that you had those email addresses. So hey, Uzoma, here's the email addresses of the people you're meeting with. If you meet with anybody else who is not on this list, you tell me and we'll give you that email address or we'll go get it for you. That's ridiculous. Your third-party recruiter should want you to be sending those thank yous. Now, I always say you got to copy me so I can see the communication going back and forth so that I know the dialogue that's occurring. But that's ridiculous. They should never prevent you from doing that. And I don't want to spend extra time going and chasing that stuff down for you. Right? So that's what I think there. I would just go and say, can I send these to the HR person or will you send all of them? Then you got to send me 5 emails that I have to forward each. It's more work for me. Zipping on down. How are we doing on time? You guys liking this? 200 people. All right, let me do this. I got time for you guys. I mentioned the boot camp. We haven't had it on sale for a while. It's been like, I don't know, a couple of months since we've had this on special. It's $100 off. If you don't know what it is, give me 3 minutes. I'm going to show it to you. Okay, you got 23 hours and 43 seconds. You get $100 off. Okay, so I don't like to start with the cost, but basically, look at all these handsome people. It's my signature program. It's all the steps you need. It's an entire system baked together that's got all the tools, all the templates. You get lifetime access. It's self-paced, so you get all the assets immediately. And what I do to supplement this is I provide you online support. Me, I answer your questions. And we give you coaching sessions throughout the year that are private only to people in the program. So in February, I think we had 5 sessions. In March, we have 1. In April, we have some. And in May, we have a bunch. Okay, so just so you understand, some months we have 1, some months we have 2, some months we have 4 or 5. You get attendance for all of that and access for all of that forever. Okay, so the problems you encounter in your career, you can always come back and address them because you have access to this. We had people who got their job a year or 2 or 3 ago with this program, and then COVID hit, they lost their job. They were able to jump right back in, no additional charges, no additional fees. They picked right up. There were more assets in the program because I built more into it since I originally created it. But it's all lifetime stuff. It's everything from getting yourself in order. You remember the story I just told you about going home on a Friday night with my big tall martini and writing out everything that I wanted out of life, of my career? The starting module, that's where it spawned from. The creation of your requirements, how to assess your why, your where you want to drive to, what my story's going to be, what my pitch is going to be, what my brand's going to look like, what I'm going to build. Okay? All that's up front. And then how am I going to investigate my options or create them if I don't see them? That's all the first part. What am I going to ask the employers to know if they can satisfy my requirements? Then marketing, that's everything resume, cover letter, LinkedIn related. Searching, that's everything to bringing yourself to market. How do I create a networking message? I give you 10 copywritten templates. How do I reach out to people in an organization? We give you technical Boolean to figure out who to target, how to surface people. But basically, I give you all the mechanics for bringing yourself to market to search for and be proactive and deliberate about the job and the companies that you want. Everything related to interviewing is there. All the negotiation I've been doing and all those people with these huge raises, because they have been positioning themselves from the beginning of the process. So negotiation module 5 is not about salary negotiation. It is about doing every single thing that you need to do that makes your salary negotiation interaction extremely effective and in your favor. So it's everything from the time you apply to the time you make your counteroffer. Do everything the right way so they love you and want to give you $65,000 pay increases. There is a look inside video. So if you want to go inside the program, you can actually look inside. There's a 7-minute video for that. There are some specialty sections. If you're a senior person, if you're changing careers, you're covered. We've got this session tomorrow. There will be a lot more for April and May coming up. There are a few different packages. This one here, this is normally $597. So it's on special till tomorrow for $100 off. If you do want to get additional coaching like a one-on-one session or a resume review, you can get those a la carte. You can buy them initially or you can get them later. It's entirely up to you. We do have a VIP program. I think we might have 1 slot left. I only allow 10 VIPs at any one moment in time. That's $2,500. You get direct access to me via email for 3 months. You get a resume review now. You get a coaching session. You get some other goodies. It's pretty sweet. There are loads of success stories. I'm calling this, I think in my email yesterday, I called this like the doppelganger page. So I promise you, whatever your situation is, somebody on this page has dealt with it. 100 different countries are represented in this program, all ages. These here are some of the young professionals. We've got people who moved countries like Mashid. We just congratulated her on her new job in Canada. Tammy, this is the same kind of thing. She moved, I don't know if it was from India or somewhere to Canada. One of those Middle Eastern countries where she was in Canada, had no network. Got her job, got 2 offers within 12 weeks. Others from Europe to San Francisco, from Germany to Switzerland or wherever, from South Korea to to Germany, to US. I mean, there's all kinds of stories that are here. There's some videos. We got a lot more video testimonies, all these career changers, people that are in their senior, that have senior tenure or are executives. There's loads of them. Basically, you are covered. Somebody has conquered the challenges that you're facing. And if you are a member, you can trade up any job searching programs that you've enrolled in. We apply what you paid toward the $497. And I do have a window of a guarantee if you're not happy with the program. There is an FAQ video. It's really a lot of fun. There's loads of video testimonials and many more that I have that have not yet made the page. But if you want to join us, and even if you can't join us tomorrow, it's no big deal. It's all recorded. I'm actually tomorrow, I have so many things I want to tell the boot campers that I created a list of, well, Kara doesn't have it yet, but we're going to do a survey right away, right when we get into the session. So boot campers, tomorrow, when we get in, I'm going to say hello, and then you're going to pick the stuff you want me to talk about. So if I'm not democratic, I don't know who is, but you'll get the choice of which things you want me to teach you on, and then we'll spend a lot of time on your questions as well. It's really a lot of fun, and as you can see, a lot of people are very successful in getting their jobs, or if they're just starting, getting interviews, things like that, being more prepared, actually surfacing more interviews, being more prepared for the interviews, negotiating more effectively, performing better in the interviews to negotiate more effectively. So believe me, it is a lot of fun, and I know it's really challenging. You don't need to go this alone. You don't. I do this every day in my life, and you got a community that would really support you. So I hope you check it out. Really fun stuff. Simplistic Grace. I'm guessing there's nothing simplistic about you. Okay. This is great. Would you take a better title and a little salary bump over better benefits in an industry where the best companies value the better title for X amount of years? Now, Andy lives his life in the and zone, not the or zone. Okay? So I'm going to leave the company and I want you to become my first client kind of thing, right? I'm going to go start my own work. Before you do anything, take the word or out and insert the word and. Right? Honey, I want to go to dinner. I want to go to a movie. Can we go to dinner and a movie? Kind of thing. Like literally every single thing where you want to do both. So here I would say, why can I not get a better title, more salary, better benefits? Why can't I get all that? That's where I start. Okay? Now, you're asking me, which one would I rather have? Now, if I had to choose between a better company and anything else, I take the better company, okay? If I am given a choice with a better company and a lower title, or a not better company, lower quality company, and a great title, I go to the company that's better. The better why? I think long term. Great companies, you don't have the job you were hired for very long. I mean that in a good way, because they elevate you. They give you more responsibilities. They raise your pay. They send you to training and all that good stuff. I bet on the horse. That's me. Okay? Now, if you are, so here's another thing that Grace, everybody, you really need to think about this. And I had lots and lots and thousands, let's say, of discussions with job candidates because, well, Andy, if I take that job or don't take that job, and in the software industry, there's a lot of acquisitions, and this company might get bought up by that company, and so on. We spend 12% of our life in the future thinking about stuff. And do you know what 12% is, people? It's 2 months. You spend 2 months a year in a future that likely will never happen. So are you worried about how this is going to look a year from now, 5 years from now? if in 2003, somebody told me that in 2004, I would not only take a new job, but then start my own company and become a recruiter, I would have laughed in their face, right? I'm not worried about tomorrow. I'm looking at where I want to go and getting on the track that's going to put me into my best future based on what I'm doing today. I want you to choose the one you prefer for whatever reasons you prefer it. My point to you is, if I'm given the choice, I go with the better company. I don't care what you call me. You can call me the janitor or whatever. And I'm coming with you because I'm betting on the company. I'm betting on the horse. All right. And I know this sets me up better to live a better day. And if I'm living a better day and something that I enjoy more, with people I enjoy more, with opportunities that are bright and beautiful, I'm going to perform better and I'm going to enjoy myself more. And I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I guarantee you today's going to be killer, right? And if you're loving what you're doing, you'll do it better. And when you do it better, great stuff just happens for you. What do they call consistent luck? We call that skill, right? So if you're enjoying what you're doing, you'll throw yourself into it. That's what I would do, Grace. I leave you to it. If I had all the specifics, like if I sat just you and me, and you laid it down for me and all the things, and we could look at your criteria and all that stuff, I could give you all the whys and wherefores. But philosophically, that's how I would go about that. Good luck. It's a Sophie or it's a tough choice. Spider, had 2 companies say they really like me, have other jobs in mind, but are now in a hiring freeze. Encouraged to apply for these jobs in the future. What can I do? How can I push them? It's like pushing a rope at the edge, right? Hang on, let me see. I got it right here. Okay, if you haven't seen this, when I get around to it, I'm putting it on a coffee mug for you guys. Spider, okay, if you don't know what this is your life right now. This is your job search, okay? What a lot of people do, you should be sending out your resumes, meaning target bosses, network, whatever, okay? And then you get in these exchanges, right? You are now in an exchange. And what a lot of people do is they spend a ton of time in these sections here, chasing, following, hey, it stalled, they balked, whatever. You should be spending 90% of your time looking for somebody to targeting them, writing them an email, sending them your resume. 90%. When you get engaged, you can work it, facilitate it, engage with it, but as soon as they stall, so what? I'm here every day. I'm here every day until I get my job, for however many days it takes. Okay? So don't spend a lot of time in here chasing. What can you do to move them along? Hey, I'm interested. I'm ready to roll. Are there actually positions where they're in need right now? What are those? Tell me who they are. Tell me who to go to. Move my resume over to them. That's it. And so what I always tell my boot campers is it's about the biddas, okay? Balls in the air. And if you are, so as a recruiter, for example, so we have clients that we work for or have worked for, and we'd have so many at any one moment in time. And then they would have searches, and we would have searches in the air, and then we would have job candidates. And if we put job candidates in, and if we stopped recruiting for a particular client, and we had a couple of job candidates in there, but what happens if those job candidates fall off? And then I stopped, and now it's cold, and I don't have enough biddas to throw one back in there to keep the process moving. Okay, so for you, think about it a different way. You have employers that you're targeting, and if you stop targeting, if you stop this up here, and the companies that you're pursuing or that you're engaged with or that you're spending time prepping for interviews and all that good stuff, if that doesn't work out, then what? Right? For all you salespeople out there, right? What's the expression? By the time you realize you need to prospect, it's too late. So you got to start cold. So for you, Spider, I'm not pushing them. Ask them a question. Where can I go? Who can I see? Who can I send this to? Who can you refer me to in your company? What positions do you think I can add value in? Let's go with those then. That's it. I'm moving on to something else. Choices. I spent 10 minutes, or however long that was, talking about choices. Get more of them. All right. Oh, Daniela Sarmiento, lifetime like 20 years access till I die. I mean, I'm going to, like, if you're asking about the lifetime access to the leadership program, as we evolve in the Mile Walk Academy, and the leaders can tell you this, right? We meet every month, but in March we're meeting 5 times because I'm creating a productivity course for them for free. It's going to be more of this stuff. And so if you're a lifetime member, you're just going to get all this stuff. And I'm just going to build more stuff. And we're going to have lifetime leader meetings, just us. And right now, I don't know how many there are. But I said once we get to we're probably at a 10 or a dozen or something like that. And somebody just asked me. I didn't even put a whole program together. Like somebody just said, Andy, I don't want to pay the subscriptions anymore. This for the leadership program. The boot camp is 1 enrollment. And that's lifetime access. Maybe you're asking me about is she asking about the boot camp? The lifetime access is till I die. Okay. So yeah, I can live to be 90. I don't know. I'm assuming that's what you mean. Kara, you got to clarify that for me now that we have lifetime leaders and lifetime boot campers. So wait, folks, not to confuse you, because I probably just did. I have a job searching curriculum. That was what I showed you. Yeah, she was asking about okay. Once you pay, you're in. That's it. Come forever and every month, and we'll do these, and job searching will be part of my life forever and ever because you need to have a good job, and I want to help people with their jobs. The career development, high performance, self-help stuff will also be a part of my life. That's the leadership stuff. And to thoroughly confuse you, if you are in my job search program, the job search boot camp, we give you a discount for the monthly membership on the leadership program if you want. And then Good Shepherd, will this boot camp help with trying to find clients as a consultant? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, Good Shepherd Legal Nurse, we have a lot of contractors and consultants in the program. And what they do is they use the program to go and find their next job. And then they do their 6-month, 9-month gig, or some of them have multiple clients going at the same time if they're 20 hours a week or whatever. Yes. And if you are a consultant and you need help with your resume, we have a special, there's an extra session in the resume or marketing module that helps you with that. So yes, it does help. It does help for sure. Jim R. Baz, my boy, how you doing? I did get your email last night, I think, and that's all good. All good. I need to actually sit and reply back to you. Let me see. What else? Gary McNeil, boot camp. Since October, November, December are the best times to find a job, how do you feel right now about March? I feel like March is burnout month, is what I said. Okay, wait, hold on. Let's not be doomsday Andy Sunshine's here, okay? November, December. So wait, October is the worst month of the year to job search. It is. Why? Let's break this down. In October, people are pushing to get projects done, right? Evaluating what's left of the year. They're planning for the next year. Not all of them are on calendar fiscals, but most are. And even the ones that aren't, they know that January is the most mobile month for employees. Why? They're pissed they didn't get their raise. They're pissed they didn't get their promotion. They're unhappy. They're fed up. You got new goals for the year. 2021 is going to be better, whatever. So November rolls around, they're like, I need to get people here for projects that start in January, new budgets, new inspirations, right? New initiatives. Well, hiring doesn't happen overnight, right? So they got to get you in. You got a little holiday negotiation you got to do with people in and out of the office. So November and December tend to be trafficky months, despite what a lot of people think. In January, it's like, okay, come on, let's get them in, let's get them in, get them in. Okay, the leaders are in, get the next wave in, and so on. All right, by February, they're rounding out their teams. All right, now March rolls around. Now, any month of the year, somebody could start a new project. Somebody could leave, right? CIO could leave in March to go get another job somewhere else. They could can somebody for poor performance. They might need more project managers because they decided to accelerate a project from the second quarter to the first quarter. I don't know. Anything can happen. But March tends to be fatigue for job seekers that are continually searching. So you need to stay fresh, you need to stay frosty. So I also want you to take a deeper look at, remember this for you guys that are going through January and February. When you look at what you're doing, I like to tell you that you have good intuition about life because you're humans and you know this stuff, right? But when it comes to job searching, your intuition is not very good. And it's not a knock on anybody. It's just you're not very skilled at it. And intuition can only be formed in multiple things. Something you've done over and over and over and over and over again. And a cause and effect relationship has to be constantly present in order for your intuition. Those two things have got to be present all the time. The cause and the effect has to be the same virtually all the time. So a political arena, for example, where you get a candidate who flies in out of nowhere, your intuition says, well, that'll never work, except that the cause and effect is not always constant. Therefore, intuition can be off. When you go to job searching, the way you think job searching should be is nothing about the way job searching and recruitment actually is. Okay, so the reason I bring this up is what happens is when you start to search, the only way for you to get better at it is to have hordes of data that have constant variables that you can evaluate your results against. You sent letters on a Monday to 3 different bosses. One was a VP of this, one was a director of that, one was a manager. One worked for a tech company, one worked for a FinServ company, one worked for a healthcare company. How many variables do you have? You have level variables, you have messaging variables, you have type of company variables, you have the market forces on those industry variables. You have so many variables that you cannot possibly compute whether what you're doing is correct. Was that person off that day? Right? Was it a holiday? Were they sick? Right? All of these things occur, and you're trying to triangulate whether what you're doing is correct. So, what happens? You try to go this alone, and you think what you're doing should be working because Coach Andy said you should do that. Except that I'm not seeing all the variables. I'm not seeing everything you're sending. I'm not seeing who you're sending it to. I'm not seeing what the messages are. I don't know what time of day you're sending it. Like, all this stuff matters. So you're trying to throw darts at the board blindfolded. And in order to get an intuition, you have to have data so you can analyze the results. Except you can't get the data fast enough because you're trying to send your resumes out and all that other good stuff. So you don't know, is what I did, was it just that I didn't do it enough? Or how many people are supposed to get back to me percentage-wise? What's supposed to happen? You don't know any of this stuff, right? I know this stuff based on all the data that we gather from all the different people that we work with as a recruiter and as a career coach. So when you get around to March, you get to the point where you're not sure what you're doing. This isn't working. Why not? Am I calling the right people? It's hard. It's tricky. So March is as good a month as April, is as good a month as May. It's just not as good as January and February. But your performance at hitting the right people with the right message at the right time, you can't guess as to when that is. That's why you need to be doing this stuff every day. That's why I would never stop no matter what month it is, even October. Right? I would keep sending my messages out. I would keep looking for the pattern. Everything that I did, I would capture the variables and the conditions. When did I send it? To who did I send it? What was the level? We had one person sent his resume to 42 people, boss hunting, 0 returns. Turned out his resume was ineffective. Once he changed it, 7 interviews, 6 or 7 interviews. I think he went 1 for 7, so 6 interviews, same 42 people. We had another guy, Matthew, who was targeting managerial levels because he thought he was going to have a better luck targeting that level because he thought that he would be super qualified at targeting bosses at the managerial level, thinking that that would be appealing to them because he was a manager. In which case I said, no, you need to go a level up, change the variable. Same thing, found the directors in that, 5 interviews. Okay, so it's this kind of stuff that his intuition said, well, that makes sense, except that's actually not true. So think about that. I feel, look, every day I coach people, usually 2 a day, that are either in great interviews far along or are negotiating their salaries. So people are hiring. And these are different countries. So yes, Tuesday, one person in the UK and one person in California. Last Thursday, or Tuesday or Wednesday, somebody in Canada, somebody in Brazil, right? Somebody in Germany. Today, woman emailed me before we got on the show. She's in France. She'd been looking for 3 years. She got into boot camp. She just got a job in a sector that was hard to penetrate in cybersecurity. It was difficult because she had no experience in that space. Is a woman. It's a good old boys network. They're not really friendly to outsiders. And she just sent me the victory email. And now we're going to put our plan together so I could coach her. And she's an alliance manager, right? Like, there are companies that are hiring. They hire every month. You just need to be consistent in finding them. They're there. If there was 20% unemployment, there would still be opportunities out there. So, Gary, that's how I feel. So the moral of the story is somebody's always buying. Somebody always has money. Somebody can always start a company all the time. All the time. You just are where you are at any moment in time. What you do about that is up to you. All right, enough of that. Doug Milligan, boot camper. Normally, I am with an org for 7+ years. Last one, 10. How can I turn this into a positive interview to show how I'm worth the investment? Okay, Doug, first off, you know I love you, brother, boot camper. Okay, for you and everybody. Past performance is not an indicator of future earnings. Where do we see that, right? All you finance geeks? So I don't make that argument. And let me tell you why. World's different. It ain't our granddad's industrial environment anymore where my dad worked at Blue Cross and Blue Shield for 44 years and he's got his gold watch and his pension, right? They ain't happening anymore. So it's not about, are you going to be here 7 years or are you going to be here 10? I was at my first company 10 years. I was at my next company 5 years. Next, 11 months, 10 months, right? So those indicators are not always present, and there are external forces that act upon your ability to be at a company, not just you, right? There's other forces, right? I was given those choices. I probably wouldn't have left. I didn't know they were going to sell the company 3 months later, and that's why they wanted to dump my salary, right? So we don't know any of that. And I wouldn't even make the argument. What I would say is, as you can see, Doug, this is for you. As you can see from my background, it's a pretty good bet I make good choices. So I know how to evaluate these situations, and I have a thoughtful decision-making process that's led to 3 companies where I've been at a minimum of 7 years, 4 companies, whatever it is. So I don't even know, all right, cool, right? That's it. You said it. I know it. As a matter of fact, you don't even need to say it because I know that. So that doesn't mean you're not going to leave within 1 to 2 years. It means you have a good decision-making process and are good at evaluating, or what else could it mean? You're flexible and you're willing to put up with whatever, right? Maybe I would argue, how about this for like a totally opposite view? Maybe you're not willing, maybe you don't like change. Maybe we have a fast environment and we're constantly changing and you don't love change. So you would rather deal with pain than uncertainty, right? So just be careful about how you bring this stuff up. I have a good decision-making process when it comes to picking employers. So I'm confident that when I choose you, right, if I say yes to you, I went through a good process. At least I have a track record of it. That's how I do it. You just don't know. Just don't know. That's good, man. Good luck. I hope to see you tomorrow. Elizabeth, how you doing? Let's get you up here. How are you? Great picture. My boot camper. Can you provide another real-world example of a boot camper who presented their case for a higher salary by stimulating their value into their future role with a new company? So, I'm assuming you just heard the one. Actually, I mean, this one is literally what day is it? Oh my God, it was yesterday. Not even 24 hours ago. 3 o'clock my time yesterday. I was on the phone, on the Zoom with Liz. And she was, she got on a 60-day contract. Actually, wait, this is better for you to know because I know what you're going through right now. 60-day contract, 1099, okay? So before she started the contract, they agreed to her salary, meaning when you start, you're gonna make X. We're gonna put you on 1099, probation. When we convert over, that's your salary. We're gonna negotiate that first. Then we're going to pay you like a contractor. Then we're going to give you the salary and benefits. She did that. She goes through it. While she was a contractor, she created an automation she's in tax filing. She creates an automated program that literally like doubles their ability to file taxes in from an automated perspective, cut like expense in 50%. So now she had an opportunity come up where there's another role, and this is a new role. She's 90 days in now, and they wanted her to interview for this other position. This other position doesn't require her to do this automation, but it actually will be something that she will do on extra time to build for them that will reduce the number of people that they will need to hire. They're expecting to double this year in the number of bodies. But her unit, the unit that she's in and the unit that she's going to, they're hiring a lot of people, but her ability to automate certain things that a human needed to do will reduce the amount of time that they need the number of people that they need to hire. That is an example of how I can help you. Now, there's other things. So, for example, let's go back to my story, okay? So Andy, I created the boot camp, so I hope I suffice. That role that I told you about, where I didn't get into the details of what I did from a product development and a marketing perspective, when I said I changed my roles, what I didn't tell you was the reason that I changed my role was because I felt like if they gave me 6-8 weeks, that I could literally by myself outperform the entire sales team. If they gave me $10,000 extra for expenses for a marketing campaign that I wanted to run, but I needed to figure out what to market. Okay, so what I did was I evaluated the market on from a macroeconomic perspective and a microeconomic perspective of what happened over the last 10 years to see the trends of where companies were going to be going in the future. And then based on where they were going and the problems that they were going to encounter or the projects that they were likely to start, that I would create what looked like basically collateral that we had done these types of projects. And I wrung out whatever I had from projects that this company that I had just started with had done before. I had to go get project managers. What'd you do? Tell me about this and that. I packaged this up. Then what I did was I marketed it to 100 banks and 100 insurance companies. And I said to the chief operating officer, if you give me the $10,000 and you just let me run for a month and go evaluate this, create the products, I'll package them up because it's paperware at this point, because this is something that we would build for a company, and let me market it. I bet you I could get more leads, like double the leads that the entire sales team did this quarter last year. He said, okay, we'll give you a shot. So I did that. I had 80 leads within 1 week of putting out this marketing campaign. So basically, I outperformed a 6-person team by myself So in Liz's case, she automated something that was going to outperform bodies. I built a marketing campaign to outperform bodies. All right, so you take that know-how and then you look for opportunities in your role, in your whatever it is that you point to, that you can do, that you come equipped to do, that you will do as part of that role, increases your value. So what I say to Liz, I don't know if Liz is here. I should probably work it. So listen, if I built the same thing for you that I just built for this other team over here, that would save you X bodies. That's like $400,000. I'm asking you for $20,000 more on my paycheck, right, for the year. So it's like that's the relationship, that you have to look for what it is that you will be able to do for them and get them to understand that that would cost you that if I was not there. So, and there are similar tactics if you're negotiating a pay raise or if you're negotiating into a company, right? My skills enable me to do this. And this is something that we can try, or we can do, or it's part of the role, or whatever, or we can make it part of the role. But you've got to look for the specifics in the role or the opportunities. Where's the pain that they have? And you point to it. We had another boot camper, Karen. And I'm going to try to tell this story fast. They were 70 grand light on her opener. Like this is what the job pays. Like I'd make 75,000 more than that already. I'm gonna go through this process anyway, right? She emailed me, you go through the process. Annie, can we have a coaching session? She gets in this process. She goes through the process. She's the first one through. They have some other people following her in the job candidate pipeline. They weren't nearly as good. She was the best. And she was moving from a hardware company to a software as a services company. But she knew how to build teams and knew how to do this and that. Goes down. We had negotiation tactics where she had to allow them to say things like, this is my number. I'm worth it because here's what I'm going to be able to build for you. And I'm so confident that why don't you go and interview some more people and see if you can find somebody for what you're paying. But what she did along the way was, what did she do? She changed their thinking about what we need in this role. And one of the things that you guys can always bank on, is when an employer says to you, that job pays 50 grand, or that's our range, or that's our target number. You can go in knowing I can change the way you think about this role and the value. And once she did that, and then they looked at the other people that they were recruiting, now they can't unsee that, because she showed them, well, I can do this and I can do that, and we can make this. And she showed them the possibilities. But the one thing that you can bank on that will never change for them, what you want to change for them, is their interpretation of who the person is that they can hire. What will never change for them is the problems that they need you to fix. The more you focus on fixing their problems, those are static in their mind for the foreseeable future. I need to solve this. What they're thinking when they write a job description is, oh, the person who can solve this looks like this, has 5 years of this and 2 years of that, and is congenial and tall and handsome. Okay? That's what they think. Then you walk in, you go, no, I'm short. I got red hair and I'm 5 years younger than you would have expected, but this is how we do that. And if you want that problem solved, here's how we do that. And here's why I know we can do it that way. And here's what happened last time I did that. And these are the problems we ran into. And here's how I fixed them. Now all of a sudden they're like, uh-oh, we really needed the short redhead. Right? That's what I'm talking about. And I keep going back to, you're like, well, they're telling me it pays 50 grand. Change their mind. They're not lying to you. They don't know any better. You got to change it. You got to change the way they think and make it so that they can't unsee you. Write that down on your book. I'm going to make it so they can't unsee me. Right? Like that I will change the way they think about this, because I'm going to harp on their problems and how I'm going to fix them. Why do I always want you to move it into the future? Because the problems they see being solved changes the way they think about who they can hire, which is you. We go all day. Elizabeth, we'll go all day tomorrow on this if you want. So I hope that helps. And I hope you guys I hope you're feeling me today, okay? Like this is what it takes in March. January's a little easier, right? They're open, they're sweeping people in. It gets a little tougher in March, right? You get a little more tired. You get a little more frustrated, or maybe a lot more. So I hope that helps. That's just great stuff, and I hope that helped you, folks. I gotta run. I'm having so much damn fun. All right, listen. It's real quick. Productivity training on Monday. Sorry, boot camp tomorrow. Jump in, baby, jump in. Productivity training, it's free. If you're in my leadership program, you can try my leadership program out. If you're in the boot camp for $39 a month, or if you're not in the boot camp, it's $49 a month, or it's $297 a year. Tons of value, $3,000 worth of value in the year. That's what, 81 cents a day. So that's Monday. I'm here next Thursday with you. And then I'm not sure what else. Did I miss anything? Kara, Stacy, did I miss anything? Trying to keep the calendar in my head. And any of you with the Outlook and the Live and the MSN that are not getting our emails, Kara and I, it hurts us when we're trying to reach you and we can't. So let us know. All right, you guys, listen, be great. You got any questions, email us at support@milewalk.com. And if you have, email us with an Outlook email or a Live or an MSN or a Hotmail, try to send us a Gmail or a Yahoo or something. All right, you guys be great. See you around. Take care.